Hi everyone. Yeah, that's quite a title, right? You need a teaser, you need an attention drawer, but we also need to change the narrative. So therefore, how will AI save our planet? Before I start, so I'm Ferdinand Grapperhaus. I'm by education a physicist, by nature an entrepreneur, and what I'm really passionate about is really combining people with technology. So therefore also this starting picture. I'd like to ask someone in the audience, what do you do when you're on an escalator? Anyone? What do you do when you're on an escalator?
Looking around, looking at
Check the phone, looking on the outside.
looking maybe if there's some pictures, if it's in a metro,
Yeah, enjoying the landscape, looking at the phone. I think 90% of the people are nowadays looking at their phone, not only on escalators, also right now at this moment, of course. But not losing a balance, yeah. Yeah, my kids still think an escalator is super scary, so they are about to focus their balance. So did you know that the inventor of an escalator irritated about himself so much about the fact that we're not using escalators in the right way? Because the way it was originally invented was to get us faster from A to B. That was the whole idea. But in the end, instead of going faster, we just get into a situation where we just stop walking and we let ourselves be transported and we go indeed into our phones. So my challenge, my metaphor for today is, how can we use AI in a way that we do not make the same mistake as with the escalator? So either to get us faster from A to B, or to better make use of our time, which looking to the outside environment might be a good example. So let's dive into it. First of all, anyone has seen, who of you have seen this picture? Who has seen this picture? Only one? So we have 3 people out of the 13.3 million people who've seen it on Twitter, I mean X. This was really a picture that as soon as AI was launched, ChatGPT was there, or as soon as ChatGPT was launched, everybody was afraid of AI. Is it going to take over our jobs? And this post, genius marketing, if you ask me, actually assured a lot of real estate company owners, we don't have to worry, AI is never going to take over our business. Our workers can continue to work hard, be happy, do whatever they are used to, because AI cannot take over their added value. So the real estate business continues like it's always being done. Humans are doing the work, whether it's good or bad work, it's business as usual. However, is that a problem or is that a good thing? Because if we look at the energy transition and the need for the energy transition, and then if we look at the global energy consumption, we all know, and I think at 90% of the presentations today, you will hear that almost 40% of the total energy consumption comes from the real estate sector. Is it a problem that business continues as usual within the real estate sector? Well, I think within construction, so what the example we've just seen, we're not there yet. We cannot have AI take over. However, if you then look at the numbers, there's the laser. This is a AI-generated laser, which goes quite slow, yeah. So there we see that the construction part of the total energy saving is only 4 or 5, or if you include material, 8%. 30% of the total energy consumption still is in the actual usage of the buildings, in the real estate. So energy efficiency in residential projects and energy efficiency in commercial projects, that's where the real challenge and opportunities are. So it should be clear, right? We should build our cities like this. Have bright cities with green buildings that make use of a balanced energy grid, where maybe AI even optimizes between peaks and minima in the grid system, where energy is distributed between residential in the weekends or in the nights, and energy usage during the day for commercial real estate. It could be such a beautiful future of healthy buildings that are controlled with renewable energy sources, controlled by an AI and make use of renewable energy sources. However, there's something wrong in the incentivization of our industry. And this is a already long time existing ratio. It's the James Lang-LaSalle ratio, 330-300. I'm not going to use the laser again because there are pretty big letters up there. But if you need to optimize your real estate, it's quite obvious where to look, right? If you look at the average real estate spent per square foot per year, you see that 300 is in HR, in the payroll, in people. So if you make that 10% more effective, your savings are 30 euros or 30 pounds per square foot or square meter. If you're going to save on your energy, which is such a crucial thing, right? 30% of our energy savings, or energy usage, of our global energy usage comes from buildings. It's such a big thing if you look at the global energy consumption, but it's such a small part of our overall spend on real estate. So the people I showed earlier are not incentivized to focus on that little percentage. If you save 10% on your energy consumption, you might save 30 cents per square feet or meter. So how are we going to go forward? Anyone has an idea? How are we going to align incentives? Yeah? I love you, just as I love this guy. Can also be a girl. The European Union. We should really bless the European Union because the incentives are not going to be fixed on their own. They need to be fixed on a pan-European way where on every project the right decisions are incentivized in the right way. So how is the European Union doing such, the EU? Well, by taxonomy. Taxonomy is the set of parameters and rules and regulations where both for financial institutions, where SFDR regulations determine how sustainable your actual funds are. So an SFDR 9 means that you have a deep green fund. And SFDR 8 means you have a light green fund, and below that, etc. Or CSRD regulations, which already exist for a long time, but the coming years are being expanded to from the larger companies all the way to, from institutional investors all the way to private investors and smaller companies. So there is a system now in place that is regulating energy efficiency. Because the real gain in energy efficiency is not a financial gain on the energy bill, especially if we observe how the energy price will develop over the years. The actual gain of energy efficiency is to have less carbon emissions, to have less negative impact on our planet. So why are we not still fully going into ESG? Of course, we are still in a phase where a lot of people are trying to understand taxonomy. A lot of people are trying to understand what does ESG mean for my company. And a lot of people and corporates who aren't vigilant, referring to the previous speech, still are postponing it to the future or are already looking into it or putting it on the agenda. But there are, of course, leaders, but everywhere ESG includes a lot of paperwork. It includes a lot of automation. It includes a lot of regulatory compliancy steps. And if you want to improve not only, if you want to monitor not only what you're doing for your ESG in your buildings, but if you also want to improve your energy performance in buildings, you get even more extensive desk work, controlling work, which many could argue is quite boring. So for those of you who are paying some attention, we have a major contributor to our global energy consumption, real estate. 30% of the total energy consumption comes from real estate. We have a solution, taxonomy, ESG. However, because energy efficiency and advantages on the energy bill haven't been the right solution, now I do believe, and many do believe, that ESG is the right solution. How are we going to make sure this solution will be implemented in the right way? That's where we need our escalators. That's where we need AI. Because we ourselves might think it's boring. We want to look to the outside world. We want to look at our phones. We need AI to do the, let's say, boring work. So what we have developed ourselves at Physee is, first of all, the first step, if you want to do data analysis and improvement, first step is to measure. And we've made the measuring in buildings super straightforward. So we've built our software in such a way that it works with widgets, which we all know from our phones when we are on those escalators. And it very clearly shows you in how your temperature of your different rooms are performing, what the energy consumption is doing, how much of your energy consumption is going to your electric vehicles in a building, or how much of it is going to lighting and where the optimizations are. So the first step is always, I learned that at the Technical University of Delft during my physics classes, meten is weten, to measure is to know. So what we do first, we help real estate portfolio owners with understanding their buildings. And we do it as well. One step is the dashboard. So you need to have a fitting solution for every stakeholder in this complex industry. And the first step is for the building managers to have a very comprehensive dashboard. The second step is to have actual compliance ESG reports every quarter that can be which are certified by an accountant, that can be actually used in your annual accounts, which are reporting on actual measured data of your building, which show what your actual energy performance is, but also what the improvements are that you've done over the previous months or years. So that's the measuring step, but we go beyond that measuring step, because what we do exactly is we save at least, that's a guarantee we do on our client projects, we save at least 30% on existing energy consumption. And we have projects where we can actually save up to 50% on energy saving. And if we would, and over the past years, if we were selling 30% energy saving to a client, financially, it isn't the right case, as I explained earlier. However, now that we got the superhero of the European Union, that we are going towards a more ESG regulated society, 30% energy savings are actually a huge impact on your ESG improvement goals. Besides energy savings, we need to make sure that we improve the climate, we improve the comfort levels of people being in the building, and we actually help getting certain BREEAM or WELL or Paris-proof certifications. It's all part of scaling a solution. So how does our solution work? On a project side, which is all the way on the left, we get whatever building management system there is, whether it's Schneider or Priva or ABB. If you're in the audience here today, hi, we work with you. We get all the data out of it, whether it's through KNX, through Modbus, or every building still has a BACnet connection, or just open API connections. We get all the data out of a building. We get it into our server, whether it's lighting data, heating data, ventilation, cooling, indoor sensors, metering, or shading. And we bring it into our digital twin. For every building, we build a digital twin, which is actually a BIM model, and we turn that static BIM model into a dynamic BIM model. And a dynamic BIM model is actually a building energy model. It's continuously optimizing all settings and sensors in a building by using historical weather data, by actual weather data, and by our building physics simulations, which are focused on energy efficiency, so on heating, on climate, on cooling, on ventilation, on lighting, etc. And all these simulations together continuously give control on building settings. And this is what makes it a bit more complicated, because it's not only reporting and measuring, what we do is actual control. And it's not a promise or a dream or a pitch. We are actually live in many buildings already. And it took us a long time to get there, because real estate is by nature slow. But by now, I'm super proud that we are actually helping large international clients with their total portfolio and making it 30 to 50% more energy efficient and making it climate proof. Like it's not only AI, it's always a team, it's always people that are building at AI. We have a lot of building physics experts that are actually building these algorithms in our code. And I'm so excited and proud of this team that we are now scaling to 5 million square meters of real estate managed under our control. And I actually, so let me also round it off. I actually don't care if you are going to work with us or that you are going to work with one of the other thousands of AI, digital twin, dashboarding, real estate companies. I really don't care, but I do care that you do start working with any of them. Because we need to make, and this is an AI-generated image, we do need to work on a postmodern society like this. And we need to make the right decisions to go there instead of going to a postmodern society like this. So my call to action for all of you today is make sure to get your building on the escalator so that you can focus on something that's even more worthwhile. And if you now then have all the time to focusing on something more worthwhile, I can recommend you to ask AI to make an adventurous hero out of you in Pixar style. I've done this simulation like 20 times, but in every simulation, AI keeps on giving me hair. So whether you would like to email with me with hair or without hair, if you'd like to know more, reach out. But just make a decision for your real estate portfolio. And thank you for your attention today.